You are on with Ready, Set, Real Estate. I am so excited to have you on today's 5-part series. This is part 1 with our guests, Joseph Leduff and Sean Smith of Your Dream ADU. You can learn more at their website at yourdreamadu.com. Before we jump into our segment with them, I want to make sure I shout out to our radio podcast listeners on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Anchor, Breaker, Overcast, and all the other radio platforms that are supporting our show. Remember, this show supports Real Estate 100 Youth Foundation, this country's first real estate focused nonprofit for the youth and young adults, where they seek and teach to empower youth with real estate terms, concepts, and careers as an alternate pathway to success. Learn more at realestate100youth.org. And if you or anyone you know is interested in introducing your child ages 11 and up to real estate basics, the Real Estate 100 Youth Foundation is opening their curriculum. Registration is now open. Make sure you sign up. 15 modules available covering real estate basics. So what you never learned in school, guess what? They get to learn now. Oh, I'm so excited for that. All right, without further ado, let me bring my guests on. You know, they've been patient with me. And this is going to be fun. Joseph, Sean, welcome to the show. Thank you for doing this series with us. We need the information.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
afternoon, Lisa. Sunday.
Thank
Happy
you for
Sunday.
having us.
Absolutely. So today's part 1, we are going to cover contractors and bad contractors. I know over the course of a year and a half, I've been dealing with the adverse effects, the negative effects of dealing with bad contractors that come in and quote, bid, get paid, file bankruptcy, and gone with your money.
Yeah, that sounds like a nightmare just listening to it.
Yeah.
Can of worms.
Right. Can of worms. So walk us through, this segment of the series as we talk about the accessory dwelling units, granny flats, garage conversions. Walk us through and this is why we've developed the series, because we really want our audience to be informed and educated from start to finish. And so this is why I'm excited to have you on, because you guys oversee the projects from start to finish. And most people don't have someone like that on their team when they're dealing with contractors. So walk us through GCs, right? So general contractors working with GCs and some expectations, what they can and cannot do, what we should expect from them, and how we should overall work with a GC.
Yeah, that's a good. This is probably one of the most important topics of getting into any construction, but definitely the ADUs, especially since they have accessory dwelling units, since they have clean this kind of a manner up or situation up over the last 2-3 decades. General contractors, like you said, they come into situations and they see an ADU. They know that the time frame is short. They know that there's good money, and they know that there, it's not too much, things they need to deal with, like building a whole home or building a disaster area or something like that. So they come in, they're able to quote high and get out. We've dealt with testimonies like on our Facebook where a homeowner has Sean and I had on our Facebook where we had a homeowner contact us on where a general contractor has come in because of this opportunity, both the homeowner and the GC himself showing excitement and wanting to do this. And they came out, gave him a quote, they got a down payment for a certain amount of dollar and, kind of left, because that's how general contractors work. You're able to get a down payment. Now, this wasn't something too crazy where I'm sure the general contractor didn't go file bankruptcy or anything, but I'm sure he tried to hide for a while.
Mm.
There's definitely situations where, you know, homeowners come in and do halfway projects where they'll well, what I call halfway projects is halfway do the permits and plans, halfway do the job, and you know, they end up leaving at some point because they specialize. Some of these guys specialize in a certain craft. Yeah, you know, you could be a jack of all trades, but you kind of specialize in something. That's what gets you into construction, you know. And some people are specialized in paint. Some people specialize in plumbing. So if you have a plumbing job and you're 2 months into this, let's say Lisa, yourself, you know, your ADU, Lisa. If someone's into your ADU and they're 2 months in, permits are good, the construction's starting to get started, but that general contractor gets hit up by a homeowner for a plumbing job, and they know that's a good, lucrative situation for them also, and they will stop or slow down on your project and go do that and handle that. You know, we hear about it all the time. And then now the homeowner's kind of questioning what's going on. And it's been 2 or 3 weeks or a month since they heard from this person or come back, and they're using excuses, or they're doing just a little bit of work in between that time when they should be really, really pounding it and, you know, getting it done. That's another. And then we have just the extreme where people have come in, get a homeowner signed up, get them through, you know, kind of like through financing, because you have some contractors that will, you know, kind of use the financing to get them approved, get some type of settlement or some type of funds available, and then they'll just walk away before even starting a project or getting anywhere.
Right.
So right now, you know, dealing with contractors, you want to go ahead and pick and get the right one that is definitely going to work with you. I say every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every month of the project.
And
Reason why?
I was gonna say, so let's say it's me, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and it's so funny because let me just share a little bit about my experience with construction and contractors. When I got into real estate, because I was not familiar with homes, period, like other than living and what you see. However, I was aware about the liability that I was exposing myself to with now getting involved in sales and then throwing out and giving advice on what was cosmetic and what was major construction or repair. I actually went and took construction courses.
Nice. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And so
That's
that
awesome.
was just me as a professional. So I learned, everything from stucco, what a proper stucco job is, from plumbing to painting and, the whole nine. However, that was me as a professional. What about your regular person? How do they get to determine, like, how do they decide this is the contractor for me? What are some maybe key points you can share with us that they should look for?
I
In
think
working
Sean would
with
definitely. Yeah, I think Sean would definitely agree. You know, if you're a homeowner, you want to look into, you know, looking up the contractor. You know, do a little bit of due diligence when he's out in the field with you. See if he's really showing some type of passion or love for his job and what he does, or is he having or is this you know, just another appointment? Is what we call it.
Mhm.
You know, look at pictures, try to find work, try to see if those are internet screenshot pictures, which a lot of people use. You know, look at some work, ask for some videos, you know, get some kind of idea on how they run their team. How does this day by day go with his crew? Does he use a certain crew, or does he pick up people normally, or does he just go ahead and kind of just sub the work out without you knowing, in a way, and then they're just
Mhm.
along to project manage it. Those are also, you know, things we run into. I was going to get back to on the first part, and Sean could tap in on this. Is a lot of the general contractors too don't really get too deep into like the floor plans, or again running with the permits or the plans, or dealing with the city. They kind of do that with their own architect. And you know, I know Sean could tap in on this too, but those are certain things that, you know, that we do on our end, that we help. You know, along with helping the contractors, because this is not just about talking mess on the contract. It's also showing that there are contractors that you should work with, because they work with people like Sean and I, and we have a great relationship, you know, with us, where they don't have to worry about the homeowner. They could just, the homeowner deals with us, we deal with the contractor. The contractor and homeowner only deal with each other on certain parts, but not in parts of the project where it would frustrate them. You know what I mean? Well, that's where we kind of come in and help.
Yeah,
Contractors, yeah.
definitely. I think that's the benefit of our, what we do, for the homeowners is, you know, a lot of the times during these stages, the the contractor um, typically gets frustrated, you know, a lot with the homeowners, because sometimes the homeowners take a little bit longer than expected. So then, you know, the contractor, he's on to the next job and, you know, trying to figure out something else. But in the meantime, you know, sometimes the homeowner's left in like, okay, now he's not responding to me, or I can't get a hold of him. You know, like, this is the things that where we come into play, where we're able to sit there and, you know, be the middle person between the contractor and the homeowner, as far as like, because there's really no like customer service aspect in a lot of
Mhm.
construction. And I feel like with our service, you know, we're able to provide not only floor plans and a lot of like information, but main thing is just the customer service aspect that I feel like a lot of construction's missing. And so I think that, you know, if you were to deal with a third party and you vet, just like you vet anything else, just make sure that they're licensed, and they, you know, they do their due diligence. You know that they're working with you, they're not short with you, and they take their time with you, and that's how you can tell, you know, the difference between a professional and someone who's just, you know, who has a job. Professional takes their time, and, you know, make
And that
sure that
I
you're
do.
aware.
I do want to add on that too for the homeowners part. For them to make this and allow this to go a lot smoother and flow better is to have patience. Know that other people do have things going on in life. We do live in our business is in LA and Los Angeles, so there's a lot of traffic dealing with. A lot of people don't like to get on their phones. A lot of people are too busy to, answer or take care of certain things, because a lot of times homeowners would like to stay on the phone for a while, or they'll send an email that's like, hey, like this is like a good email I need to take time and do. So since me and Sean have started and been doing this business and helping with the middleman side of the customer service, I receive more emails and phone calls about the small little things that I know a general contractor, their phone dies also, or they're out there from 5 a.m. till 8 p.m. So there's a lot there where, I kind of see and understand on their side too. So I do take a lot of their side. It's almost kind of like I'm taking 50-50 in a way, where I'm homeowner and contractor, because they deal with it a lot too. They're not just, your project. Yeah, you have your project, but we also have them dealing with their day to day, which is traffic, which is other phone calls from other homeowners, because they have to have customer service, or their reputation gets cut off a certain way, or doesn't get, looked at in a good way, and now their referral program or their referrals aren't going to come in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see that. I definitely could see that, which is why I see you fulfilling a need for those contractors that don't have a full team, right, built out, where there's someone that's answering the calls and processing quotes and following up on permits, and touching in regularly with a property owner, saying here's the weekly update. And so yeah, that's important. So what I'm hearing is, in terms of deciding for a property owner to decide on, what contractor and team, and I think any professional for that matter, the key things I'm hearing is, are they listening to you?
Mm-hmm.
Are they being responsive?
Mm-hmm.
In the way of communication, albeit even asking you what's the best way to communicate, because we just did this in one of our consults.
Right. The homeowner should ask. The homeowner needs to ask the contractor, what is the best way for us to communicate with each other? Because, some people, I have a contractor, I think it's best for him when he talks to the homeowner. He gets it all out. They understand, and then it saves him 20-30 minutes on trying to figure out how to email them back with all these bullet point questions.
Right. Because most
some homeowners are really email-y type people, or text message people, and it's like, I don't have time for this. Give me a phone call, or it's the other way around.
Exactly. So establishing what is the best form of communication, so that the parties are clear on expectations. And I think that's the other point, is when you're asking those questions, is to be clear on expectations. So one thing I heard you mention about GCs, general contractors, being able to collect the down payment or that deposit. typically what should we expect? And I'm a big person where I am like, no, I'm not paying anything in full, especially when we talk about projects and certain phases. So, what typically, would have you seen in terms of the breakdown to get from, get away from the 100% funded up front to
No, no. Actually, state law is for a down payment. It's up to $1,000 or 10% or whichever's less, um, to start the jumpstart the project.
got
So
it. Can you say that again? I think for the people in the back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Say that again.
No, okay, so it's a state law. A contractor should not be taking more than $1,000 or 10%, whichever is less.
Whichever is less. Wow. Okay.
Yes, and that's a big part. Whichever is less, and that's the initial, first payment. So if they're asking for more than that, they're not abiding by state law.
Red flag.
Yeah.
Correct. Now, after that initial payment is set up and taken care of, typically with our clients, like with a lot of our clients, we do a percentage breakdown of the project. So normally, let's just say, I'm gonna give you a number, but 6,000, 3 to 6,000, or 10% sometimes of the project amount will go to the pre-construction side, which are the permits, the plans, the Title 24, et cetera, right? Run into the city, knocking that out. That's 33% of the project.
Okay.
The other 33% of the project, we usually do, well, I don't say usually, but like, let's say the last customer, he did a 50% of the project. So if it's $100,000, 10% towards permits, plans, running to the city, etc. 50% now towards the construction side, which is, of the concrete, breaking down concrete, setting up the footers, doing the sidewall, all these like little those parts. Then the last
framing and stuff like that. Okay.
Correct. Well, yeah, and yeah, exactly. And then the last 33% is the finishes, and Sean could tap in on this. When you're going through your floor plans and everything, this is your finishes where your cabinets come up. What kind of cabinets? What kind of door? What the windows are? What kind of paint are we using? Sherman Edwards, or that type of part. So that's where you have, like in a perfect world, which our last customer. Shout out to the Norwalk Project, if they're following us on Instagram at Your Dream ADU. He was a great guy, great situation. Everything flowed. If I could grade it, I would say a A+. For this homeowner, everything was smooth. It worked out great. The payments everything was perfect.
That's exciting. I mean, I can't wait to build something now. I'm like, all right. So,
yeah.
So what I heard, let me see. I don't know if I had missed something. So because your breakdown was, I think you did 10% permits, plans.
Yeah, permits, plans, and that, there's bullet points underneath that of what goes into that.
Right.
Permits and
Then
plans.
50% construction, right? The construction.
We call that construction, and then 50% post-construction.
50% post-construction.
Which are your finishes, your cabinets, your, the paint, the stucco, things like that. Mm-hmm. Just the finish.
Well, I guess. Well, no, I was trying to get this to add up to 100. So.
Yeah. So if you did like 10, and then you did 50, and then you would do 30 on the back end or 40 on the back end, so that way it would equal about 100%. So,
got it. That's what I was. Yeah, that's what I was at. That's what I wanted. That way, people can get this in their mind. Like, here's some expectations, right, in terms of the phases. So, be prepared for the 10%. Here's what it's covering, right? Permits, plans, the pre-construction, making the runs, and making sure we get the stuff done.
The materials are there and all that good stuff.
Materials, right? 50%.
Yeah. Now we have run in.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we have run into situations where you have an investor, property owner who likes to kind of they'll provide the whole project, or like, let's say the credit card or the debit card, and now the contractor in themselves, because he has a trusted contractor, they're gonna go ahead and do like they have a shop list, or they have a actual just they have a list of items, of particular items that they want to use. So sometimes they'll give them the upfront to do a lot of these things.
Like the
But
SKU
again,
numbers, right?
Yeah, the
not
allowances
suggest any
for
homeowner.
like appliances or IKEA furniture, anything particular to, their specific needs.
Yeah,
There's an allowance set up for that, but
yeah,
there's those case
yeah.
by case scenarios.
Now, homeowners do use that type of thing too, where they have a particular allowance and all that, but we just don't run too much into that a lot. And if so, we still tell them that, the contractor doesn't, we ask them, we're telling them, the contractor doesn't need all the funds up front. They just need to know what's the next step, or the homeowner needs to know what's the next step in the project and what's the funds that needs to be available. And that's how the contractor and them particularly work on that part. So
Got
in
it.
the stages, and that kind of happens usually when the inspector comes out. There's usually that day or two pause of construction, and they usually could kind of have a huddle up meeting on, okay, this is next, and inspector, okay, this is that. Let's move on to the next part of it, which is, whatever that next part is, and that here's the credit card, or here's the funds for that, or here's the check, or you have some of these people who want to do cash. You have some of these people who have lines of credit. Some of these people have a couple of credit cards, whatever it is. So there's certain way, there's certain different ways. And that's where I think we were getting to the PACE programs, Lisa, which we wanted to kind of get into the PACE, or the government type of program, or the
Yeah.
programs that the government, okay, but they're not backing.
Yeah, so I definitely wanted to cover that as we get ready to conclude on this part, because there's so much you guys listen up as you're listening and taking notes, and that's why I'm taking notes myself.
Oh, we can stay on this subject for hours. I just
I
want to give you guys a
know.
couple of testimonies. Sean Sean could come in and add his part on that.
I was going to ask you about, so let me finish my thoughts. I had two things. So one of the things that I heard, you mentioned was about, the percentage allocated, and we were talking about expectations from start to finish. How long typically is it taking to complete the ADU projects? let's say a basic, and actually I know you're going to say to me, well, Lisa, that depends what they want.
No,
So
yeah. No, we tell that to people all the time, but we have a ballpark. We're professionals. We're gentlemen. We know we don't have to go ahead and put guards up or gates around the answer like a lot of people do.
Right.
There is a ballpark. There is a good, like I said, there's a case scenario with like Norwalk, the Norwalk project. Again, shout out to Norwalk, RIG, Instagram. Your dream ADU. No, it's fine. But yeah,
Shameless
so that
plug.
project
That's
took,
perfectly fine.
I would say that project was 5 months or less. I think it was between 4 and 5 months. I can't exactly say the weeks, but I would say in a perfect world, you're looking at about 4 months, and that's permits, plans. That's everything working out, flowing correctly.
Right.
With the
Yeah.
city, with the general contractor and the architect working with the general contractor and his crew being there, day and night, on the certain days that they're supposed to work, the inspector coming out the day that the inspector is supposed to come out. So we're entering the state right now in the season for being in LA, in the season or Southern California, where there's no weather issues going to be happening right now between now and the next 4, 5, 6 months, I would say.
Right.
No rain, no, anything like that. General contractors and the inspectors are usually on point. When I say on point, is their schedules are pretty much to the, they're crossing their T's and dotting their I's. They're doing they're doing everything they need to do to get the projects finished up, because a lot of these homeowners, investment property guys, want to get renters in,
Right.
before the summer, because they want to add some type of value to their home or get some type of income coming in, or even ready for the holidays, which ADUs are great for Airbnb 30-day or less rentals right now. So summer and the holidays are huge for a lot of people right now. They're trying to take advantage of that. So, the homeowner, if he has a date, time, and a plan, and that contractor meets that date, time, and plan, and then that inspector understands also, everything should flow right to about 3 to 4 months. Because I've even seen projects that are a little bit smaller.
Yeah,
our Norwalk project is 800 square feet. That took 4 months. I seen a 400 square foot unit permits get back in 2 weeks because everything worked out perfectly fine. Construction and everything was only 2 months. So you're looking at less than 3 months now.
Okay.
Yeah, now there's case by case scenarios where they get done. You hear people being finished in a month.
Yeah, yeah,
It can happen. It can, but
yeah.
uh,
LA City. I mean, LA County. Lisa, you could get it done in 8 weeks or less.
yeah, but that's not practical for a lot of reasons.
Right.
Right.
It's yeah, but you can get it done. Like you said,
But
we've heard it, we've seen it, we've heard it. I've seen a year and a half. Me and Sean know a gentleman that went through a year and a half, twelve
over
hundred
Culver
square
City.
foot, 1,200 square foot unit, 2 bedroom, 2 bath, beautiful. One of the beautifulest ADUs I've ever seen in Southern Los Angeles. I guarantee you. And it took them a year and a half.
Wow. Okay.
Bad
So
timing, bad timing in the weather. The contractor and the architect going back and forth. They lost money. I think they lost up to 40,000 on top of the initial value or the initial estimate or quote. So there were things. There's situations. I'm not just give you the good. There's a lot of bad out there.
yeah, I was going to ask you, was that something you were a part of, or just you were as
No,
you're
we just knew the
researching and
contractor
learning?
and the architect at that time, and we knew the architect more on that time, and the realtor who was
Yeah, the
helping out
realtor.
assist that project.
Okay, so the realtor was assisting. There was another team that you were connected to with that. Okay.
The realtor wanted to work with us on the future ones because he basically let me know how that happened and how that worked. And
Right.
me
And
and Sean got to explain to him that we have a contract we would like for him to meet, and we could scale it and we could do it at a certain, and the realtor and the architect were running the permits and plans, and it's just certain times, I'll just go do it another day, or something, or you
right.
get a lot, and you don't know certain people's every day. For myself, with my company and my business, I run the permits and plans usually myself because I live right behind the city of Van Nuys. I have a home right there that I have right, and I just walk over and 7:30 in the morning. I'm there 2-3 times a week.
How convenient.
Yeah, so like, and especially if I'm working with the homeowner that I've got the inquiry or they've contacted me and I have a certain relationship now. Yeah, I like Lisa. You get an ADU done, you gonna get yours done on time.
Right. Yeah,
We know
looking
each other.
forward to it. So let's
Yeah.
let's touch on pace. I'm not going to. I don't want to belabor this too much. I've done a segment, but
Yeah.
for those who are not privy, so Pace and Hero has been a program approved by the county, various counties, and they agreed to. In 2008, this program was born to increase energy efficiency in properties across California. And the way it rolled out was they would finance the projects for property owners who were looking to do things for that were energy efficient eligible, meaning windows, right? Solar panels, improving. I believe AC. I believe
Yeah,
HVAC
HVAC.
systems are
Yeah.
included. HVAC systems are included in that, and so there are certain things that are eligible for this program. And as we saw what paper contractors did, I'm going to say paper contractors, they're basically contractors that signed up, applied to be quote unquote authorized PACE and HERO contractors to use the financing to complete the jobs. So unfortunately, we had a couple bad eggs that jumped into this as an opportunity and took advantage of property owners that they were now, and I personally have been dealing with this with homeowners in the South LA and even in some Valley areas because, as the word gets out that I've been an advocate for homeowners fighting this, this is like something real right now that is impacting homeowners in the South LA communities.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how far, but we do know since 2008, there are about 15,000 homeowners that signed up for this program. Contractors made over $100 million. And the stories have ranged from, like I said, when I opened up the show, which is why I wanted to talk about contractors as we get into the ADU conversation, is that the homeowners that signed up were not aware of the financing, how this was financed, how it would be paid. Some were not clear of the terms, meaning interest rates were as high as 9.5%, amortized over 20 years. And more importantly, and this is what I want people to listen to right now, more importantly, the financing was attached to the property taxes.
Yeah. Yep. Sean, I think you're gonna really be able to get this going for them. He has so many testimonies on his end.
Well, my family, went through Hero to get solar, and so my family's actually is one of those people who are not an advocate of Hero or Pace. But nevertheless, I do feel like those programs, were kind of designed to kind of, ramp up the solar market. And when it was rolling out, when California took it, it's really starting to attach themselves to it. Church starting implementing policies or state funding, tax credits, things like that. But with the Pace, those aren't the best options for homeowners, especially with these ADUs. I do feel like if you're going to go with the ADU, I would definitely avoid Pace options, because you just don't want to get caught up in something that is not best for your situation. It may sound nice in the beginning, but you just want to do more due diligence as far as what is going to be best for you long term. A lot of homeowners, the only reason those came about is to get around the traditional full doc, so that way there is you can hide behind some of the curtains to get things moving. But typically when there's
I was gonna ask you to explain that if you can. I can touch on that if you'd like, but I just explain what that full documentation looks like in terms of financing, because the stories I'm hearing, yes, that was a big contributor, because no income was required to show that you could actually afford the finance.
So when you're dealing with those types of programs, keep in mind that anything that's not asking you to disclose full documentation, there's it's not gonna say it's necessarily a bad thing, but anybody who's going to be lending you X amount of dollars, they want to know everything. And if someone's not trying to know everything, then that could potentially raise a flag.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that gives access also back to, and I want to tap in on a second, guys.
Like, you're not concerned whether I can pay you back?
I get to come in a little bit on this too, real quick, Sean. And I know Sean would agree. There's a lot of contractors, Lisa, that will find programs like this, other than the Pace or the Hero or the Get Hurt. Because there are a lot of these times where these programs have come through. It's not all bad.
I have a client. His name's Andre Williams. He just paid off his Hero, and he's ready to move forward with an ADU. So to him, it worked out. But that's not in a typical ideal situation.
That hasn't been. But
typical. There are contractors that search day in and day out for a program like a Green Sky, which is a new program that I typically I don't really care for. Like homeowners, they find it, wow, this is amazing, this is nice, because they get lazy. Homeowners, this is for you. You get lazy and don't want to provide the certain documents, and you think it's a time thing or you're busy at work, whatever. Well, if this is something you're really interested in, you want to help your financial future and help the property, and really know and take notes that, this is going to really work out and help me at the end, because I did the financial side properly. I found the contractor properly. It doesn't take a year or two to do this. You could do this all within a week. Just put your proper research in. You could do this in 24 hours if you really needed to. You could really find and do your due diligence, and finding a really good broker or lender that would help you do more research or looking into how you could do it the proper way. Green Sky is a company where they will allow you non-docs. I could sign up a homeowner today if I was a general contractor, and if I was with their program to sell this to homeowners, I could sign you up today, Lisa, and tomorrow you get approved. In 3 days, those funds would be there in an hour, meaning the contractor's access to it and you wake up 3 days later and the funds aren't there anymore and your project hasn't even gotten started.
You see, Well, you
And I
touched
mean,
on,
that's a high amount. You could get up to $65,000 with Green Sky.
right,
Yeah, Green
right,
Sky. And then the other thing is that with Green Sky, you just want to be very careful with those types of programs and lending. But as far as ADUs, what's going to be the best for homeowners, it's going to be cash out refi, HELOC, home equity loan, or it's going to be a renovation construction loan. So those are going to be the best options, if you're trying to look for an ADU, some financial help. But yeah, if you're considering PACE, just make sure you think it all the way through. I'm not saying it doesn't help everybody, but that's a case by case, and just make sure you know what you're signing up for if you do choose to go with a PACE program.
right. Let me just reiterate those because on our show, guys, we never assume people know acronyms. So let me just let's just cover what the refi cash out is, and I'll go ahead and explain that as the licensed professional here, real estate professional. So cash out refinance is you refinancing basically the terms and conditions on your property. What most people need to know about a refinance is, yes, you are starting the clock over on a new loan term that is factoring in the cash amount you're pulling out of your home's equity. You are allowed to pull out up to, I believe they'll do up to 60. Is it? Oh, no. I have to double check. I know with veterans, they do up to 65%. So I'll definitely will double check on the amount that you can pull out. Again, that's based on showing that you can cover the new payment amount. So most people will be attracted if you're wanting to do this, and especially with the things that I see happening right now in the banking industry and interest rates and overall the market. And if you don't feel like you want to go the route with the full documentation and something like another program that says no doc and it sounds all wonderful, make sure you're the fine line. In our industry, we say the big print is ruled by the little print. So make sure you're reading the fine line, because something like the PACE program where you say, yes, this sounds wonderful, great, I got this. The fine print is that that loan actually takes first position over any existing liens. And yes, your mortgage is considered a lien, which means if you default or don't pay on the PACE or Hero financing or some of those financings that are holding first position, they can foreclose on you. Okay, so that's cash out refinance. You mentioned the HELOC, HELOC, you guys, that is the home equity line of credit. Again, you want to check with the lenders on who is offering that, your current lender, find out what the terms and conditions are again, and see what the tax implications are. I believe there have been some tax changes with HELOC. So you used to could write off the interest. There have been some changes with that. And then the other that Sean mentioned was the renovation, a construction loan. So again, want to know, you can ask that an analysis be run for you with no commitment, meaning those brokers or lenders that are presenting these options for you. You want to do the apples to apples and see what is it costing you, what's the bottom line, and how much is it going to be per month in terms of paying it off. And again, when we talk about cash flow, that means that that ADU needs to pay for itself, okay? And some.
Yeah. So make sure that you we try to educate people. If you are considering doing any type of remodeling, obviously the ADU, it's going to put the most value back into the home out of anything else you can consider doing. So this is going to be this is going to be the number one thing to increase the value of your home.
Correct.
Outside of that, if you decide to go with long-term or short-term rentals, they're both designed to be able to not only pay for the payment, whether it's going to be through your bank or a finance company, or if you have the capital yourself. If you structure it right, you should be able to have that monthly passive income starting almost right after construction's done, so you
Right.
can start getting that set up
So you can
within the
start
month.
cash flowing right
Yeah,
away.
with the turnkey situation like this, and Sean does help. We do help on that side where we could do from the post construction. A part of that is where we come out. We'll help with our property management background. We'll help provide the pictures, market the place for you, or market the ADU for you in a marketplace that is so saturated. We could help out with
And
that. We could help
competitive,
out
yeah.
with certain target markets, hashtags, whatever it is, to help you get in the flow of that arena where you have all these competitors. A lot of people just be like, oh, I'll go to my friend or family, and then they'll give up from there. And then you look at it as a waste, or, you know, now they're moving luggage back in there in storage, and, oh, I want my garage back. No. Okay.
Moving
That's
luggage
don't
back.
do
You
that.
made a fancy garage for
Yeah, do
luggage.
not do that. Do
No.
not do that because your family member didn't come on board or anything. And you know, this is such a great opportunity too, just for the property value to go up. If you have a situation where, hey, you know what, we're going to move in 3 to 4 years. Perfect. Perfect. If you're going to move in 2 to 3 years because you decided to have a family now and you're adding a second child, or, you know, you want more land or whatever it is, perfect. Take this opportunity to take the garage that you have, detached or attached, convert it, add another bedroom, add another or living space, add another bathroom, which is huge to California. When you add another bathroom, the property value is another. That's in that chart of top 10 things to do to my property to add value. But adding a bathroom is one, but an ADU is number one. Now you do that. Now you're going to stay there for another 2 or 3 years. You move out. When you move out, there's equity built because of that ADU. You receive some passive income into there. Your second unit or your second property now you go to buy, you can do the same thing. And in 2 to 3 years, get out of there. Now you have 4 properties on 2 lots, or 4 income units on 2 lots.
Yeah, and then the major things I think is keep in mind that, you know, LA is only becoming a lot more attractive. They're doing construction all over the city, inner city LA, downtown LA. They're building, you know, trams to the beach. Like, the stadium's being built. The city is just growing in value.
Yeah, I'm looking right here. In the 1990s, LA was the top 10 city in the world. Right now, in the 2000s, it is a top 5 city in the world. And from Magic Johnson's point of view and other people that are activists and community supporters in LA, they're saying that LA should be, if not number 1, because we already passed up New York, sorry. But if not number 1, we should be, you know, number 2, 3, number 1 in the next 10 years because of what we're doing in Los Angeles alone.
And keep in mind, so the ADU is roughly what? Let's say $100,000 right now. Where else are you going to buy a home $100,000? You know, in LA.
Pay it off. Pay it off in 3 to 5 years with your ROI, because rent goes up. Don't think you're going to be rented out for $1,200 for the next 5 years. No, it goes up. It goes up, people. It goes up 10 to 12%.
And then after 3 years, after 4 years, that same garage you only paid, or you can, you know, the ADU you paid $100,000 for, it's probably going to be worth $300,000 by itself.
And you've already pocketed the money back, and you're receiving passive income still, because if you did your due diligence, which is this all about, is you as a homeowner doing it properly, or as an investment property owner doing it properly from the contractor to the funding to now how you're going to rent it out or do the long-term rental, or, you know, what we're going to get into too, Lisa. I know you were kind of excited too, the senior side. You know, you can get a senior living program, or there are even homeless programs out there. Look into that. Not everyone is a dirty, drunk, or drug, alcoholic, homeless person, you know, which you know, that's our typical line.
We'll be getting into that. That's a great segue for us as we get ready to wrap up part 1 on bad contractors of our 5-part ADU series. We are on with Sean Smith, Joseph Leduff of Your Dream ADU. Check them out at yourdreamadu.com. Guys, thank you so much for today's segment. You guys, make sure you're tuning in again, because we are doing something never done before.
Yeah, the energy is
roll
there.
out the ADU series, okay, so that people can really get this information. Because when it jumped on the market, I believe ADUs became legal at the top of 2018. It was proposed in 2017, effective January of 2018. People said, "Great, we can do this. What do we do?" So this is what this is about. We are now moving forward and providing a resource for people to learn, feel empowered, and take this information and put into action. All right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in on today's segment of Ready, Set, Real Estate. We'll see you next time for part 2. Stay tuned.